This lesson is about the implementation phase of a project. The key to all of this is to work smart, not hard. Objectives of this lesson are to examine the phase of implementation within a project, to define implementation, to analyze the implementation cycle, and integrate the rationale for implementation management within a project, and finally, to interpret monitoring and evaluation techniques within the implementation cycle. So today we're going to talk about the implementation phase of a project. You can see it here depicted on this slide. Startup is really when you're getting ready prior to project planning in phase 1, and phase 2 is the actual project planning. Today we're going to talk about project implementation, which is phase 3, which is always conducted prior to project completion, which is phase 4. See the red arrow. So implementation is a collection of linked activities carried out in an organized manner with a clearly defined start point and end point. Implementation is a process of refinement or learning from experience. It's a mini cycle in a larger project cycle. It's a very critical stage of a project. Earlier efforts were to undertake the project. Project activities are carried out during implementation and funds are dispersed to facilitate the activities. The project's carried out according to the plan design, and there may be a need for flexibility in a plan adjustment. And during this phase of the work, monitoring and evaluation are crucial. So the implementation cycle is defined as realization of objectives of the project plan through efficient, effective, transparent, accountable, and responsible administration of the plan to the satisfaction of the stakeholders. Stakeholders should be consulted regularly on matters affecting implementation of the project to ensure coordination of the project activities to meet the objectives. The implementation cycle is an effective decision-making process that ensures that certain actions occur at the right time within the life of a project so as to attain the desired and specified quality of the objectives and the budget. So why manage implementation? You manage it carefully to maximize the chance of reaching the objectives of the project with respect to the agreed upon quality to be delivered within the time frame, the scope, and the budget. So in other words, you're carrying out the plan, you're collecting data to evaluate the plan, and you're determining if the objectives were met or not. This is done throughout the course of implementation. So monitoring and evaluation are ongoing activities during the implementation phase. Monitoring is carried out by those who are implementing. This could be staff, supervisors, managers, or sometimes a student. The aim of monitoring and evaluation are to facilitate implementation as specified in the project plan, to ensure the project activities are being undertaken on schedule and as designed. Any constraints in operationalizing the plan can be quickly detected and corrective action taken. This enables the management to be proactive rather than reactive in correcting mistakes during the implementation phase of the work. So monitoring and evaluation also includes the high-level channels of communication, which should be clear and easy to allow transparency and accountability of all actors involved. And thus, relevant actions, results, and barriers to implementation should be monitored for smooth implementation of the project. Monitoring and evaluation is a systematic review and/or examination of the elements of success and failure in the project to learn how better to implement. Continuously during implementation, You monitor to provide data on which evaluation is based. You look at, are we efficient? Are we productive? Are we doing a good job? What is the outcome, and is it what we wanted it to be? Formal evaluation is undertaken at specific periods of time as designed in the project plan. Usually, there's a midterm and endpoint formal evaluation. This can also be undertaken when the project is in trouble as the first step in replanning the implementation efforts. So how much time does it take to implement? Basically, a lot. You have to do the monitoring and evaluation per your design plan and track the progress against the plan. And you need a system to add and delete tasks or activities that may be hindering or enhancing your plan. You also need to keep all of the stakeholders informed. You need to be meeting on completion of each major milestone, and critical issues need to be discussed and solutions identified if needed. And in many circumstances, you need to modify the plan because it's either working too well or not good enough. This is very common during implementation. So, if you can't plan it, you can't implement it, and if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So monitoring and evaluation are key to implementation and take a lot of time, and you also have to remain flexible because sometimes what we plan to do isn't working and we need to modify it during the implementation cycle. Thank you so much. What?